Affair was originally reported by the National Enquirer, and they've been doing that for more than a year. Here is Edwards in late July responding to a reporter's question about the very topic.
I have no idea what you're asking about. I've responded to consistently to these tabloid allegations by saying I don't respond to these lies, and you know that, Raylene, you covered me, and I stand by that.
The woman at the center of the story is 42-year-old Rielle Hunter. Edwards tells ABC that Rielle was hired to make documentary videos for his campaign, and here's a clip of her telling Extra about how she met the former senator.
It was a random meeting. He was in a business meeting in New York, and I was in the same place.
And his admission comes weeks after the National Enquirer claimed they caught Edwards visiting Hunter and their love child at a Los Angeles hotel. This bombshell breaks just a few weeks before the Democratic convention, where it's been rumored that Edwards would potentially be speaking. Here with a reaction, John Edwards' former communications director, Chris Kafinas. Chris, good to have you back on the show, especially tonight.
Thanks, Alan.
Did you have any inkling of this?
No, not at all. I mean, when this story first broke in October, it was made very clear to us that this was false, that these allegations were not true. And we went out there, and I went out there, and a lot of other staff, and defended Senator Edwards, passionately and vigorously, as every good campaign staff does. It's unfortunate, it's very heartbreaking, and I think devastating news to his supporters, to the staff that worked so hard for him, and not to mention, the volunteers out there across the country. And no question, incredibly, I think, devastating and difficult for his family. And my thoughts and prayers go to Elizabeth and the senator in dealing with what is clearly an incredibly difficult personal issue.
Chris, do you feel betrayed, and are you angry?
Well, I don't want to say I'm angry. When you work on a campaign, you sacrifice a lot. When I joined the campaign, I had a 6-month-old. I missed her first words and her first steps, and that's difficult. But that's a small sacrifice compared to the lot of sacrifices a lot of other campaign staff make for the candidates they work for. And we do it because we believe in the cause, and I believe in the cause. We fought for righteous issues. So I don't want to get into the fact about whether I feel angry or not. I'm incredibly disappointed. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of sympathy for what Senator Edwards is going through and what Elizabeth is going through. She's already dealing with a lot. With her medical condition and cancer, to say the least. So, that's where my thoughts and prayers are tonight. I'm not thinking about myself.
There's a little piece of the story coming out throughout the day, and the latest piece to come out just a few moments ago is that a donor from Texas named Fred Barron, a big Democratic donor, apparently did pay, I don't know whether it's called hush money or not, but did pay for relocation and housing expenses for Rielle Hunter and for this child. Now, did you know anything about that? Do you know Mr. Barron? Because John Edwards had said he was not aware, although he didn't close the door on the possibility that some of his supporters might have paid some money that he was not aware of.
I know Fred from the campaign. I did not know anything about this, and it's a pretty strange, revelation. And there's, it's tough to deal with what has been an absolute whirlwind of a story when this exploded early, late this afternoon.
Hey,
but
Chris.
At the end of the day, again, I think, we have to keep our focus on, this family. He's a human being. He made a terrible mistake. He's paying a very difficult and severe price publicly in the media spotlight. And, I think that's where we got to keep focus. Yes, Sean,
I agree.
sorry.
And it's Sean here. My thoughts and prayers go out to Elizabeth and his kids and his family, and they're going to suffer as a result of his decision-making. And for that, I'm sorry. I mean that sincerely. But I'm not sure if he's being honest with us at this point. In his own statement today, he said this conduct took place for a short period of time in 2006. He says it ended then. If it ended then, what was he doing at 2 o'clock in the morning in a hotel room in Los Angeles with the woman? And according to the National Enquirer, they have pictures of him holding the baby.
Sean, I don't know what to say to that. I don't have any knowledge or information about that. And again, those details, I know it's going to attract a lot of media attention in the coming days, but it's not really where my focus is. This is a family that is going.
I'm not asking where your focus is. I understand that. But I mean, don't you think, does that sound a little disingenuous and dishonest to you?
Listen, I am personally pretty devastated, and I can only imagine the staff and others that worked for him a lot longer than I did, how they feel. I don't understand, how this all came about. It's unfortunate, to say the least. But, you know, this is something that I think we're going to have to get past. And, you know, again, at the end of the day, he's a human being. He made a terrible, terrible mistake, and he's paying about as severe a price as you can in if you will, a public, humiliation. And that's pretty severe. But again, my focus is on his family, and in particular Elizabeth, and wishing them that, you know, the best that they can figure out a way to get through this as best they can.
Well, let me ask you, did you know the woman?
No, I didn't. She wasn't on the campaign when I joined in July. So I didn't. Well,
they apparently, according to this report, had traveled around the country together, and including Africa, and she was paid $114,000 to produce campaign website documentaries, of which she had no experience. Is there any illegality to that potential?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but I honestly don't know what the answer to that is, Sean. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you one last question about the veracity of his statement today, if I can, Chris, and that has to do with this money. He said, denied paying any money to keep her from going public, said it was possible some of his friends or supporters may have made payments. How would that have been possible had he not discussed it with them that this had all taken place?
You know, I have no idea. I don't know the details. You know, the only thing that I did, and I know a lot of other staff on the campaign did, is we took the senator at his word, and we went out there and defended him passionately and vigorously, as I think would be expected. You know, clearly what was told to us was not true, is now true. It's unfortunate, but again, you know, I put that in the past, and I'm not going to focus on anything else. But you know, the reality of a family going through a terrible situation, and again, I hope we can put it in perspective and give them our thoughts and prayers, and hope they can get through this as best they can.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.